There is a strange hiring going on at Tesla Giga Berlin electric vehicle factory. Tesla now is looking for an investigator with intelligence experience for the Grünheide Giga Berlin electric vehicle factory. The media fear that the grievances now at Giga Berlin will no longer be uncovered. As I'm about to tell you this story, please like this story as if you found it helpful and useful. The most unusual thing about the job offer at Tesla is the fact that Tesla openly published it on its homepage. A German-speaking security intelligence investigator is being sought for the electric car factory in Grünheide in Brandenburg. That means a kind of internal company spy. He is responsible for protecting Tesla's intellectual property, trade secrets, and confidential information. The local Märkische Oderzeitung, MOZ, fears that Tesla wants to track down informants at Giga Berlin among its own employees. I will have the link in the description of this video, friends. Without whistleblowers, investigative reports by the MOZ, for example, on fires that are harmful to the environment, on abuses at the Tesla plant fire brigade, or on the spillage of poison powder in a satellite camp in Grünheide that MOZ has covered, would not have been possible, writes MOZ newspaper. This is not my opinion, I'm quoting them what they wrote. According to the job posting, Tesla expects quote-unquote several years of experience as an investigator with international or national law enforcement agencies or intelligence agencies and or equivalent time in corporate security. The person will be part of a team of investigators and analysts tasked with detecting, evaluating, preventing, or protecting against any undermining of Tesla's operations. This, in my opinion, is a standard operation at any corporate governance. Applicants should have experience in conducting and overseeing complex global investigations, knowledge of investigative strategies using technical forensic skills and data is also required. The future security investigator will collect data inside and outside Tesla Giga Berlin premises to protect the company from threats. He or she is also set to conduct highly sensitive, complex, and confidential investigations into incidents involving data loss, intellectual property, theft, technology misuse, and conflicts of interests. According to MOZ, filing this position is just another step to prevent data loss by employees. Because cameras are set up all over the site, mobile phones are banned or the phones have to be taped off in the production hall. For example, when we visited an automotive companies in Germany, I remember they were telling us turn off mobile phones because there are strict laws there to take phones. And employees who log into the in-house VLAN should also accept the following notice. Your organization is installed a certificate from a certification authority in your work profile. Your secure network traffic may be monitored or processed. Such middle boxes, which carry out a kind of man-in-the-middle attack, are controversial but are used by many companies. This is why I said this is standard procedure. As a further protection, Tesla has assigned additional employees to monitor the employees of the different shifts. According to employees, a car with a camera also drives around the Tesla factory site to track down whistleblowers and violations. Drones have not been able to fly over the site for a few weeks apparently because their signals are being disrupted, notes German publication Golem, and I will have the link of that as well. If some of you are drone operators, let me know if you have been able to fly your drones. However, it should be customary in the industry for Tesla to require employees to sign a non-disclosure agreement. In any case, passing on trade secrets is a punishable offense. That's why I understand Tesla. However, according to MOZ, the agreement also states none of this prevents the applicant from confidentially reporting possible legal violations to the responsible authorities or court. According to the newspaper, however, potential whistleblowers could be deterred by another passage, which reads, if Tesla substantially wins any lawsuit to enforce the non-disclosure agreement, Tesla will recover the costs of enforcement from the applicant, including reasonable attorney's fees. The company makes it clear that it classifies violations as irreparable damage for which financial damages would not be an appropriate remedy. The fact that Tesla protects itself against factory and industrial espionage is nothing unusual in itself. Even the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution warns in an information sheet against internal perpetrators in industrial espionage. So what do you think, friends, about this? Let me know if you think Tesla's move reasonable or unreasonable. Now, on a relevant news, Tesla ships record 1.3 million cars in 2022 from its gigafactories, which is up 40% from the previous year, but misses Wall Street targets amidst demand concerns. In my opinion, 40% growth is still very good. How many companies or automotive companies you can show do that? Tesla set broke its quarterly record for shipment in the quarter to the end of December, delivering 405,278 vehicles as its new Texas and Berlin plants continue to increase production, up 11% on the record it set the previous quarter. But most analysts had expected deliveries to reach 420,000 to 430,000, and the shortfall added to concerns that higher interest rates and slower global economic growth could mean lower demand for Tesla's cars in 2023. Tesla chief executive Elon Musk had predicted earlier in the year that the firm would hit a longer-range goal of 50% annual growth, but he became more cautious as COVID-19 related shutdowns affected production in China and demand began to weaken. The company said production exceeded deliveries by 34%, actually 34,423 in the quarter, the third in a row in which Tesla reported excess production. Tesla said logistics accounted for at least part of the problem, with changes to its production and delivery processes leading to a, quote, a further increase in cars in transit at the end of the quarter, end of the quote. Earlier in 2022, Tesla struggled to maintain production amidst supply chain challenges and the lengthy shutdown of its key Shanghai plant in the spring. But by late in the year, the situation had changed so much that Tesla voluntarily shut down most work at the Shanghai factory in late December, according to media reports, and planned a reduced production schedule in January 2023 ahead of the Chinese New Year on 22nd January. Friends, Tesla shares fell by 65% in 2022. I've reported on that, and fell 54% in the final quarter alone as investors worried that Musk was focusing too much on the reorganization of Twitter, which he bought for $44 billion in October. Also, on another note, Tesla Model Y and Mustang Mach-E were left out in the new $7,500 federal tax credit for electric vehicles for a very ununderstandable reason. But you can do something. You can do something about it. What is that? As we reported last week, the U.S. Treasury released the full list of electric vehicles eligible for the new $7,500 tax credit coming into the effect this year. At the time, we noted that there were some inconsistencies on the eligibility for the SUV. The type of vehicle is significant since it determines a price limit to be eligible for the tax credit. Now, I said that you can do something about it. What is that? I'm going to tell you in a moment. SUVs and pickup trucks have a higher MSRP limit of $80,000 instead of $55,000 for all other vehicles. We noted that the Tesla Model Y only qualified with a 7-seat configuration, and other SUVs like the Ford Mustang Mach-E also weren't considered SUVs according to the IRS list. That's despite the Volkswagen ID.4, which is about the same size as the Model Y, and Mustang Mach-E being considered an SUV and getting access to the tax credit for a price of up to $80,000. It appears that the IRS defines an SUV only by the vehicle's GVWR, or gross vehicle weight rating, which appears to need to be over 6,000 pounds to be considered an SUV. There might also be some other criteria that the IRS hasn't shared, because again, there are some inconsistencies in the list if it's just based on weight. Many electric vehicle enthusiasts are seeing this as a major mistake, since it goes against the purpose of the program, which is to encourage sales of more efficient vehicles. Vehicles with lighter weights are more efficient. There are several SUVs that have less cargo space than the Tesla Model Y and Ford Mustang Mach-E that are considered SUVs in the program, like the BMW X5 plug-in and Jeep Wrangler plug-in. The government is now taking public comments on the new rule, and some are already pushing for changes via a petition. This is why there is something you can do about it, as the government is now taking public comments. Now, I understand that it can be hard to define an SUV, and the term, along with crossover, has been used loosely over the years. It is hard, and government, I'm sure, has officials working on that. However, it is very hard to understand the new tax credit gives $7,500 for a vehicle like the Jeep Cherokee 4XE, and I have nothing against it, and not Tesla Model Y. What do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts, friends, and give us thumbs up if you found this report useful and helpful for your Tesla decision making. God bless you. See you soon in our next report, and I look forward to your comments.